are. Good morning, Unity of Kalamazoo. How are you today? We're few in numbers, but strong in spirit, right? Yeah, very good. Okay, we've got a little bit of a different team up here. Subbing on bass today is Cameron Taylor, a great friend of mine, and a nice friend of ours at church. We've had him a couple times, and he's great, so welcome, Cam. Carolyn's on drums again today, and an old familiar face, Beth Patterson. Beth, you want to wave? Beth, yay! Beth's been with us a bunch of times as well, and we really look forward to every time she sings with us. So, song leading today is Brian Bay, and you'll want to stand up and sing with him. So let's get going. Folks, we're going to start with Thank You for This Day.
For this day, Spirit, thank you for this day, this beautiful day, this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my joy, Spirit, thank you for my joy. Thank you for my joy, Spirit, thank you for my joy. My deep abiding joy. My deep abiding joy. Thank you for sweet love, Spirit, thank you for sweet love. Thank you for sweet love, Spirit, thank you for sweet love. My soul filling, life filling, sweet sacred love. My soul filling, life filling, sweet sacred love. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful day. This beautiful day. This beautiful day. God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every
Good morning, Unity of Kalamazoo. I am Beth Odekirk, your platform person for today. Welcome to everyone. And if you are joining us for the first time, we would love to have you fill out an information card that you will find in the pew pocket. And after service, return it to an usher as you leave. They have a small gift for you. And also, we welcome those joining us online. Join the online chat and let us know where you are watching from. Thank you to all those helping today, our streaming and sound team, PowerPoint, our youth team, ushers, and hospitality and script upstairs, and our wonderful music team. Fantastic group this morning. I know that you're all eager to listen to them throughout the service. We have a few announcements today. Today after service, the Unity and Community team will be meeting before the workshop in the YOU room. We have lots of great events in the works, so please join us. We have great energy in this group. Please sign up also to be part of 2 teams Reverend Judy is starting. The programming team will help identify future content in our programming, and the celebration team will create and support cool ways to deliver our programming like music, PowerPoint, video, plus some facilities management. Please sign up for one or both teams. This is our chance to provide our voice into creating the services we desire. They will meet on the 23rd after service. The first Saturday in May is International Labyrinth Day, and we will again host the Walk as One at One event. You may have seen the signs on your way in today. Participants will walk the labyrinth for peace starting at 1 p.m. Please take a couple of flyers and post them at places you frequent to help get the word out. And Joe Avriette wants to say something about a potential cleanup. Thanks, Joe.
I don't need that. Thank you. We want to try to get it cleaned up a little bit out there. So Wednesday at 10 o'clock, it's supposed to be in the 60s on Wednesday, contrary to what tomorrow is going to be. And so if you can come and help for a few hours, we're going to be getting the pine cones out of there, weeding, cutting some stuff back. So please join us.
Today, we have a very special guest with us, Joseph Drolshagen, who will be talking today about living our faith. Joseph is a certified master coach who is dedicated to the awakening of life's passions. He assists individuals in the transformation to live a life aligned with their soul's purpose. Joseph has been named in the top 30 coaches for 3 consecutive years in the New York Journal and has been featured on Fox, NBC, and CBS for his works in reprogramming the subconscious. And we are lucky to have him with us today. Not only up here giving the message, but also after service, Joseph will be leading a fantastic workshop on transforming your life in 90 days. If you are looking for transformation or feeling stuck, it is time to do something about it. Spend an hour with Joseph, and you won't be disappointed. The cost of the workshop is a love offering. Thank you so much for being here and bringing some of your family with you. And now it's time to join in saying our mission statement together. As an all-inclusive community, we awaken to spirit, grow into our souls, and build a better world. And now our vision statement. We celebrate a world of ever-awakening consciousness, abundance, peace, and love for all. Our core values are love, authenticity, stewardship, oneness, and playfulness. And we have added a land and labor acknowledgement. Together, our spiritual community. Now it's time for the kids to head downstairs with their teachers. Let's rub our hands together and bless them. Ready? As you go your way, know that you are loved, special, and important to us.
You are the face of God, and you and I are one. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of love. You are the face of peace. Your peace brings peace to me. You are a part of me. You are the face of peace. You are the face of joy. I feel it deep within. You are a part of me. You are the face of joy. You are the face of God. And you and I are one. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Now we take some time for reflection, beginning with the daily word. The daily word for today is world peace. I live my vision for a peaceful world. To bring about peace in the world, I begin by paying attention to my first reaction when I feel I have been treated unjustly. I do not deny my feelings, but neither do I allow anger, envy, or other negative feelings to take control of my response. I feel my feelings, but I remain committed to living the truth I know. Regardless of behavior, every person is a divine being, a living expression of God. I call upon my divine faculties of love, faith, and strength to guide my next steps. No matter how another responds, I remain centered in God. My efforts make a difference. Peace between individuals creates peace within families, in communities, and among the nations of the world. The effect of righteousness will be peace, and the result of righteousness, quietness and trust forever. Isaiah 32, verse 17. Today, our meditation will focus on the creative energy of spring. I wonder how many of us are blissfully sore from engaging muscles this week and weekend that may have atrophied over the winter. Let's take a few quiet moments now to connect with the divine creative energy that flows within us and is ever present in all things. If you are comfortable, close your eyes and just begin to breathe slowly and deeply. As you settle into your space, notice how your breath connects you to your physical body and any sensations you may be feeling. Images in your mind and thoughts you may have floating by. Take a few moments to think about the energy of creation and how it aligns with the newness of the spring season. What does this time of year represent to you? Begin to notice how the energy of spring is stirring within you. What needs freshening up in your life? Is there a new project you're feeling inspired to start? Now that the sun is out and the birds are chirping, what has you feeling passionate, excited, and motivated in your life? What are you going to create? Feel your own energy and become conscious of the sensations in your body as you breathe deeply. What are the words, phrases, or feelings that come up for you? As you think about the energy of spring and how you're experiencing it internally, ask Spirit that this idea, this project, or this plan you're beginning be for your highest good and for the good of all who will be affected by it. Now imagine yourself going out into this new season and beginning the things that bring you the most joy. Bringing your thoughts and ideas into your external environment and making them come to life. See yourself cultivating and harnessing the energy of spring, both internally and externally. You are full of spring's abundant energy. When you feel comfortable, slowly open your eyes, feeling renewed, creative, and tapped in to the flow of the divine energy of spring.
A few weeks ago, Beth was invited to do an opening set of her original music for Peter Mayer, a wonderful traveling musician out of Minnesota who's actually been here at People's Church a few times. And we were at the UU Church in South Bend and got sort of reminded of this beautiful song of his that he did on his program, and just seemed like a fitting song for today's talk, and just the idea that perhaps one of the most powerful actions we can take is to choose to make every moment a holy moment and every place a holy space. So if you do know this song, please sing with us on the choruses when they come around.
When I was a boy each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen soon. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything, everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even bigger magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath, like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-downs. I walk it with a reverent eye, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-ringed bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me wanna bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. Used to be a world half there, every second rain hand-me-downs. I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now.
That was awesome. Both of you, all of it. It was incredible. Man, thank you very much, because that's the boost I needed this morning, so thank you. Voice, absolutely beautiful. You know what I love about things like that is and so often I didn't realize it in my life, is the impact your voice has, the impact your music has. We never get to see the end result of how far that spreads in our life. You know, and it was probably, can you guys hear me okay? No? Okay, I'll probably finagle with this and then blame Brian. So maybe it goes wrong here. So it's my fault. I want to go back to your pack. I think your pack might have got it. All right, we're doing a pack check here, folks. Oh boy. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Nope, it's not the mic. It's the mic. All right, that's cool. You want to switch out the mic? You want to use put this one on? That one? Sure. We'll be back. We'll be back after this break. Okay, am I live? Yeah, okay, good. So, and I move around a lot, so I don't know if you want to come up here and move the mic with me or just I'll try and stay in range. I know, I'm kidding. I was just kidding. So, okay. So it was like 26 years ago. I didn't know anything about Unity Church. I just knew that I felt like I tried my hardest growing up and stuff to be God, you know, to trust in God and to apply what the Bible says and everything else. But back then, I always felt like no matter what I did, I wasn't going to measure up. It wasn't what I was taught, it was what I learned, my perceptions, and it's a big part of the works I do today. So I happened to stumble into a church called Church of Today in Warren, Michigan. And some of you people are familiar with it. It later became Renaissance Unity. I walked into a service. I had no idea who Jack Boland was walking into that service, and I sat down. And to this day, I have no idea what he said. But sitting in there, the music, the 5 unity principles, when I heard that, and whatever he said in his message ignited this passion in the core of my being. And I walked out of there knowing that I wanted to help, motivate, and lead people to living better lives. I didn't know how to do that for myself at that time. I was 22 years old. I came from a struggling family in Detroit, Michigan, and blue collar, and I just saw my parents, just all the stress and impact all that has of hardship over finances and everything. And now here I go to this church and I hear this message. And again, I don't remember what it was, but those 5 unity principles, that principle number 3, which is I create my experience by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. I had no idea what that meant the first time I heard it, but I walked out of that church becoming a student of the works that I ended up doing today now, which is taking and understanding those 5 unity principles to implement those and change my life, and then to get multiple certifications and continue that pathway to where about a dozen years ago, I walked away from corporate America after a 28-year career up to a vice president of sales. And that's what I get to do today. I get to help people. I get to help individual business owners. I get to help realtors to really live better lives, whether it be building up their business, whether it be finding more freedom, whether and what I've come to realize is all of it is spiritual transformation, all of it. I've helped organizations that are, like 380 employees at $110 million that were in bankruptcy go back into profitability, utilizing these same principles, utilizing the 5 unity principles that I've applied, done different ways, and now I've developed I don't say this bragging, but this is this kid from Detroit and how far my life has gone. The year before COVID, I was invited to go to the Unity Worldwide Conference and do a talk on prosperity. And at one point I had to stop. And I said, here's this kid from Detroit, from a struggling family, standing here talking about the Bible to a room full of ministers. Like, how awesome is my life? I get to be here today. Thank you very much for inviting me. I get to be here today with you guys, and I get to share this, what's been put in my heart. I get to hear music like that motivates my world and creates more holiness in my life, and then I get to bring that outwardly into other people's lives. And one of my favorite Bible scriptures is John 14:12. And it says, these and even greater things shall you do. I had no idea how to do that, but it meant something to me the first time I read it. And it's meant something to me since, and the process of my life has been to find out, what is that? What are the greater things that this life is supposed to contribute to this world? And one of the reasons I'm so passionate and love what I do is because I know each time I work with a person, each time I work with an organization, I get to help people to grow and expand in their life, which then has a bigger imprint across the world, that each one of our lives is another book of the Bible being written as we live it. And if I can impact that in somebody's life, that is so incredible to me. So what I want to share with you today is I want to give you hopefully this talk. So I want, my desire is always to be impactful with what I do. And for you to remember this talk. And I knew one way would be when I walked up those steps, if I tripped and did a roller coaster or did something on the ground and fell, you'd remember this talk forever. But I'm getting up there in age and I don't heal as quickly. So the other thing is with the words I use, So one of the things I just want to ask God to just enter our hearts right here and right now. And open our hearts up to hear what we need to hear, what each person needs to hear today. Forget about opening our ears, open our hearts. And instead of looking for what I already know, that we can find something in this that we can add to what we already know. That's what I call a beginner mindset. And when I say that, and you don't have to answer out loud, you can, but when it says, these and even greater things shall you do, what does that mean to you? Your life is so crucially important to the impact on this world. And what is that for you? What does that mark? So I do a lot with visions. This whole service was like tailored for this, what I wanted to talk about, because everything I do, I start with visions. And one of the cool things about the workshop is, at the workshop, I'm going to show you how to do visioning. I'm going to show you I call this the Antichrist, folks. This right here is the Antichrist. Because when I'm living up here, I'm hearing all the reasons why I can't, or why I shouldn't, or who do I think I am. I'm hearing myself putting together all the strategies. I'm hearing myself put together all the plans and how this life is going to be based on my thinking. And every time I do it, runs me into walls. Or I can live from here. And it's where I start tapping into things like my intuition. I start expanding on things like my imagination. When I do that is where the most incredible moments of my life come. And even things like fear, which we'll talk about at the workshop as well, but even things like fear, false evidence appearing real, we have all kinds of acronyms for it, right? And we all know even from up here, from a logical mindset, typically, now, I live in South Carolina up in the mountains, if there's ever a bear chasing me, like Cocaine Bear, waste of $20 if you're paying to see it, trust me. But if there's ever a bear chasing me, I'm going to hightail it and run. But so often we live our life in that high pace. We live our life in that high adrenaline, rush, fear, anxiety, stress, worry, doubt over things that are never going to happen. The fears, I one time wrote down all my fears that were in the present moment. And do you know not a single one of them, I must have ended up with 25, not one single one of them came to fruition. Okay, so going back to the vision, Wallace Wattles, I quote him a lot. I love a quote by him. He says, if you are not consciously choosing to live excellent, rich, and healthy, then you're unconsciously choosing to live poor, mediocre, and unhealthy. And I think about that, and I think about the people I meet, and I'll meet people and I'll say, what do you want for your life? What's the one thing? Give me one thing that you really want to experience in your life. And do you know most people can't answer that question? Most people are living so unconsciously in the day-to-day, what I call subconscious conditioning, that they just keep following that same process over and over and over. He has another quote that I love. He says, thinking is the hardest work in the world. And that's why most people don't do it. And I laugh at that, but I can't tell you the number of people that I meet that can't stand where they live. They can't stand the job they're doing. Anybody resonate with that? That was me for a long time. But they do it day after day, week after week, year after year for decades. Hoping for what? Hoping to achieve that point of someday I'll have enough. Someday I'll retire, right? And that's how I was programmed growing up, is that a man gets a job and supports a family and hopefully lives long enough to enjoy some retirement. And I've bought that hook, line, and sinker for 28 years into a corporate career with multiple steps up the corporate ladder, and I was miserable. And with each one of those steps I took up that rung, I became more and more miserable, but I kept following that path because I wasn't thinking. It took recovery from alcohol. It took the death of my dad and then the death of my mom a year later, because she didn't want to be alive without him, for me to be an orphan and go, why am I living this way? And so I'm kind of going across a spew, and I'll pull all this together because the other avenue I found out is my most painful times of my life were some of the most precious gifts of my life, because they created enough pain inside of me. There was enough discontent over those things that I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And that brought about change. The fact that I'm standing here in front of you guys today, living my passion, sharing my message and my knowledge and my studies and certifications and everything else, this is how I've always wanted to live my life. And it took me until about 10 years to learn how to do that, to step out and do it, because fear and because of all these other things. And one of the reasons to bring it back is because of lack of vision. I never had a vision on what I wanted to do. And in the workshop, we're going to get to practice on actually speaking your vision, getting to play with and opening up imagination in the vision. So vision is one of the things I really wanted to bring up today because it starts everything. Without a vision, everything is created twice. I think Wallace Wattles said that too. First, it's a thought before it ever becomes a thing. And so everything, no matter where I am, I always give a shout out to Detroit because being from there, with Henry Ford and the assembly line. That could have never came to fruition had he not had the thought. The Wright brothers, that first flight could have never happened without them thinking it could have happened. But what happens, you guys, is we get that conditioning within our subconscious starts taking over and running our thoughts and telling us everything that's happening, everything that's going to happen, everything that could happen, everything, and it pulls us away from the things we really desire to the point where we don't even vision anymore. It's almost like I can't believe the people I've talked to who it's like a sad thing to get into speaking this great vision for their life, because it brings up pain because of all the past disappointments. And one of the ways I help them change that is I ask them this question. How many of you guys sitting here today would ever speak to another person the way you talk to yourself? How many of you would ever let another person talk to you the way you talk to yourself? The subconscious, we don't have control over that other than reprogramming. The conscious mind, we do. That's what we're focused on, the thoughts we use, the words we use, the thoughts we entertain, the people we hang out with, what we watch on news. If we constantly watching CNN, constant negative news, that's what we're feeding into our life. That's what the subconscious absorbs, and that's what we're going to create experiences of. That's the reason why people that are having financial situations continue to experience financial situations because they put all of their thinking on that financial upset that they're experiencing, and it creates it over and over and over. I call that living a conditioned life. They're living based on their conditions, their situations, and their circumstances. When the only reason to experience upset is to trigger our discontent to lead us over to what we truly do desire. But we don't know that, so we spend so much of our time living in those, and then we're just recreating them and regenerating. And it happens, it's not just in like for my life, it happens going down. I'm going to bring him up here in a minute. No, I'm not. We're going to get over that fear of public speaking. No, but it's generational. So my parents struggling, when I was 22 years old, before I went and saw that Unity, do you know if something came easy for me, I felt bad? I thought I didn't deserve it because I didn't work hard enough for it. If you think about the way our process works, our creative process, which we talk about in the workshop, but if you think about that thought alone will stop things from happening in our life. The reality of our life is make-believe. The entire reality of our life is make-believe. And if you disagree with me, I'd love to talk to you after this. Because the reason I say that is the reality of our life is based on our perceptions. Somebody who has a perception that they don't have enough money, that's their truth, and they will live in that truth, and life will continue to show up for them that way. The good news is at any given time, we can look at our perceptions, shift those, and literally change the reality of our life. And that's what I specialize in helping people do, and what I continue to work on in my life. The bad news? Nobody can do it for us. We have to be willing participants. You know, there's a lot of people that I talk to that want to become clients. They want to work with me with the coaching and the works I do and such. And a lot of them, probably over 50% of the people, I tell them I can't help. And the reason I do that is because you have to have that beginner mindset. You have to be willing to change. You have to, you know, when somebody comes in the program, I've learned, like in recovery, I've learned there's two kinds of people that come in the program. There's the person that comes in the program that tells you what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, where they're going to do it, and how they're going to do it. And then there's the person that comes in and says, man, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't stand living like this. Which one of those two people you think I can help? The second one, yeah, thank you, yeah. That first person, I can't do anything for them. Right here, the Antichrist will stop me from finding the avenue that's in my best interest. And it's impossible for it to happen any other way because I only have so much experiences in my life. I only have so much knowledge. When we tap into universal knowledge, when we tap into the universal mastermind, when we tap into the power source available, oh my God, what's her name? Oh my God. She was up for president last time. Marianne Williamson. Did you say that? That was awesome. Marianne Williamson has a quote, you guys, I absolutely love. I never say it how she says it, but I know it my way. And she says, we're not afraid of being powerless. That's not our fear. Our real fear is how powerful we really are. Each one of us, each one of you people sitting here today, you are so powerful. And if you have, so let me ask you guys a question. How many of you have some area of your life that you'd love to improve from where it's at right now? Yeah, we all would. It's part of the human condition, really. Like I used to think stuff like that was selfishness, but it's part of the human condition. As we grow and as we expand, we change. And when I work with people on visions, I help them understand at all times, your vision is as alive as you are. So I'm big into stepping into my fears. So last October, I took my first launch off of a 2,000-foot mountaintop strapped to a hang glider. And when I was up there, 3 steps, you get like 3 steps. It's a cement slab that goes like this, and you get 1, 2, and maybe the tiptoes of the third one, and then you're in the air. And you're either going out or down. And I stood there, and I did the training, I did all the stuff and everything, and I got this hang glider on, they gave me the clear, and I'm standing there, and man, everything inside me, maybe you can relate with this, everything inside of me was going, no, back up, back up, back up. And I've been out there where guys have done that, and they backed up, and they sat down, and a couple guys didn't go, a couple guys went. Before I go into this, I'll tell you the name of my company is IFGT Coaching Consulting. The IFGT stands for It's Frickin' Go Time. And I cleaned that up for services as such. So I stood there with the hang glider. I had the clearance and it's staying, and I'm feeling this fear, and I'm feeling it like I had to be shaking. And I went to take in what you're supposed to do. Now you get 3 steps, and they say walk, jog, run, which I couldn't ever figure that out. So I take the first step, and it gets stronger and stronger, and I take the second step, and I speed up, and it's stronger and stronger, and I take that third one, and all of a sudden, I'm in the air. You know, that fear vanished like that? It was gone. It wasn't even there, which means it wasn't real anyways. And now I'm floating through the air, and literally all I hear is this, and I'm gliding, and I'm going down to the landing site, and I ended up, out of 7 launches, 3 of them I landed up on my feet. The other 4 were on the wheels of the hang glider, so I don't talk about those much. But just the whole thing was just like ecstasy. It was like when we talked about that song, when you talked about holier, when we step through our fears, and so often our fears are so wide we can never get around them, and they're so tall we'll never get over them. But most of the time when we go through them, they're paper thin. And when I get that courage and I get that assistance and I get that support in doing that, and I go through those fears, man, that's where real life begins on that other side. And so now, 3 more, and I'll be starting to find thermals and soaring. That's when they go up to 10,000 feet and stuff. And for some reason, I'm excited about that. My mind is telling me, you're not doing that. You're done now. But my heart, and that's a big differentiator, is differentiating our head from our heart. And I do that through different tools of awareness and things like that, and understanding where's the information coming from. When I was driving here this morning, I love speaking at you guys. I love speaking on this material and these concepts and such. On the way here this morning, I could hear that voice going, who do you think you are? Really? What do you got? And what's happened through practicing, working on that conditioning, I can just go, whatever. And the voice quiets. And finding those tools to quiet the Antichrist allow me to live through my heart here. The other quote, the Bible scripture I wanted to share with you is Mark 11:24. Whatever you ask for in prayer, if you believe in your heart that you will receive it, it will be given to you. And I've had the honor of working with people who have been so crushed by life, and every one of us have. And they took it as being life happening to them. I have a book in the back there today that's Life's Lessons, that it's really about that life happens for us and not to us. And when I get out of that mode of say, why is this happening to me? And start asking, why is this happening for me? All of a sudden, I could see my life lessons. I could see what was carried in that discontent to focus me back onto a vision. And the sooner we can do that, the quicker we start realizing changes in our life. We start realizing changes, ultimately changes in our perception that show up as experiences in our life. And I do my best to follow this stuff. I do my best with those 5 unity principles, with principle number 3. But sometimes I find I'm really, really faithful in my thinking. Right? My thoughts are on God. My thought is I get up and I invite God into my day and I ask him to guide it and I ask him. My actions? Not so much. They're either self-guided or they're based on my strategies or they're based on overcoming fear or they're based on getting pulled into that other side. Before COVID. So I've been doing this for about 12 years since I walked away from the last organization. Once we found new owners, they dumped $12 million in and took it from a 3-day-a-month operation to a 5-day-a-week operation. I said, I'm done. It's too hard. It's the third one. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to follow my path now. I already had 2 certifications for what I do today. And I resigned. I was in Iowa. And I moved to South Carolina, which is a whole nother blessing upon blessing story. But I moved to South Carolina, and I've been building this business. And within the first year, I surpassed My income as a vice president. I said the number of clients I worked with was like 180 clients in 1 year. Since then, I've learned that I don't work with that many clients at a time as I did back then because I deserve balance, which is growth for me because I didn't used to think I deserved things like that. So in doing that, though, COVID hit. The week COVID hit, I had like 8, because before that I was traveling like 40-some weeks out of the year. I would get to speak at multiple unities around the United States. I'd work with realtors and business owners and things like that, so I would be traveling all the time, and I loved it. COVID hit, and I had 8 events canceled out within a day. And I went back upstairs. And I started coming up with all these exhaustive efforts and massive actions and these plans and an A plan and a B plan, a C plan, all this stuff I was going to do to recover the business. And for 3 years, it was really rocking. And it wasn't until within the last probably year and a half, 16 months, when it's like, man, this is failing. And I'm doing my best. I'm working like from 6 in the morning. I didn't even take weekends. It was like when companies were in bankruptcy. I wouldn't take weekends. I would just go all weekend and just keep trying to go until something good showed up. And I was back in that mode again without even realizing it. And thank God I started working with a coach again, because within a week, I couldn't see it in my life. And so often we don't see those patterns and those paradigms and that conditioning that's playing out in our life, where somebody from outside that's trained and knows how to do that can help us pick those things out so quickly. And so he did. Within the second week, he's going, man, you're living from your head. Oh my God, I didn't even realize it. And I quit. And I took a week off. And I went hang gliding. For the first time, I was in the training hills back then. And while I was gone hang gliding, I didn't do any work at all. And I had 5 strategy sessions of people who wanted to work with me that came out of the blue. You know those came out of the blue? That term. I always refer to, like, my God as blue. And I do that. It's my branding color. I love the color blue. It's my favorite color. But the reason I do that is so often I'm talking to people with these incredible experiences, and I'll say, how'd that happen? How'd that happen? And at some point, it came out of the blue, right? It just showed up. And what happens, it makes logical sense, because what happens when I'm doing 150 miles an hour up here, I'm missing those out of the blue things that are flying past me. I'm missing them completely. And when I did that talk on prosperity, I said, prosperity, there's so much abundance around us. But we have to quit blocking it. We have to get into alignment with allowing it to show up. And getting out of here is one of the quickest ways of doing that, and getting into here and living from here. Does that make sense, you guys? Am I going over? I'm going to wrap up right now. So there's a vision, and then there's a focus. You ever hear squeaky wheel gets the grease? What does that mean? Somebody. The squeaky wheel, the problem area, right? And we spend so much of our life looking at the problem areas trying to fix them. I had a really good friend of mine who passed away about a year and a half ago. And when I was 20 years old, he said to me, if you accentuate the positives, most of the negatives will take care of themselves. And I thought, okay. Later on in life, that started making sense to me. And today, what if instead of the squeaky wheel being the problem, what if we insert our blessings as the squeaky wheels? What if we make a decision that I'm going to pick a blessing today to be my squeaky wheel, and that means that's what I'm going to focus on. And if something shows up that's not there, it's not going to be something that I put my focus on. I'm going to focus on my blessings today. I challenge you to do that for this week. Pick one day. Pick one of your blessings. I do a lot of different things myself with experiments and stuff. And I remember he was much younger. And I had him every other week. And after a very hard divorce, a whole nother year was spent on getting 50% custody of him. And I ended up, through the grace of God, had that. And so he was with me one time, and I was in my room, and I was on the phone with this person trying to create a good relationship out of something that shouldn't have been. And I didn't realize it, but I walked out and he's playing Xbox. Now here I did all this fight, all these tears, all this heart struggle to be in his life like that. And I looked and it was 3.5 hours on this phone call where he's spending his time playing Xbox. And at that moment I made a decision. I got off the phone and I started going to bed every night. And I would look at how much time do I put into my blessings in this day? And how much time do I take crap and try to make it good? And it was really way down on this side when I started that. I don't do that every day now, but I still keep a monitor of it and make sure, I wouldn't say I'm like this, but I make sure that I'm at least a little heavier in my blessings. Try putting some focus on your blessings, forgetting about whether it's money or finances, a job, a relationship, whatever it is, and just really put it in, because we always have blessings. And the more we focus on blessings, the more we accentuate those, and the more we'll see those show up in our life. God bless and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joseph. Very inspirational. I'm Karen Colson. I'm a member of your board. And for those of you here at home and everyone here in the sanctuary, please join me in our board affirmation, which is lift off, lift up, and live into the dream. Counting your blessings. All right, and now as the ushers come forth, if you could please take out your offerings and tithes and join me in our offertory blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Yeah. So another original for you guys. It's a little bit in transition, but it's really about spiritual transition and navigating, connecting to faith community. So it's called Everywhere. Been wondering where to go, thinking about how we know what we know, wishing for more unity. But I still believe love's greater than all of these we see. You everywhere, inside and out there. And you, we live and move by grace. We climb in hope, shine, 'cause you are not contained by spires and places or organizational tears and faces. There's a goodness that cannot be contained. This love is endless, can't you see? It's like a fire inside me. I see you everywhere, inside and out there. And you, we live and move by grace. We climb in hope, There's so much that we don't know, but I'm learning how to trust and let go, giving love as I receive. The freedom we need is as close as the air we breathe. I see you everywhere, inside and out there. In you we live and move. By grace we climb in hope, shine.
Okay, Unity of Kalamazoo, I don't know about you, but I am very excited and eager to engage in these transformational principles with Joey after service today. And I've already been taking notes about how he's going to help me live an excellent, rich, and healthy life. And also, if you might see it as an out-of-the-blue blessing, even if you hadn't planned on signing up for this ahead of today. So, it's out of the blue. Take advantage. All right. As the ushers are forward, we are going to pray over our offerings. Loving, kind Spirit, we thank you for all of our many blessings, and we give thanks for all the gifts received today and throughout the week. Thank you to those watching and giving from home. Receive these gifts and love offerings with our love and gratitude for all the good that will come from them. May that good travel throughout our world to bring peace, justice, and prosperity to all. Amen. May the Christ light continue in our hearts and surround the world in a warm glow of oneness. As we bring our service to a close, I invite you to please stand, and you at home too. Please join me in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. And now as we bring our service to a close with a peace song, if you are comfortable, you may hold hands with your neighbor or just place your hand on your heart and connect within.